All right. So, hello, my name is Rebecca Heisel, and thank you for letting me come here and talk to you today about the Charging Smart program. And so I'm just going to dive into what the program is and how we can support Fairborn in becoming EV ready. As I mentioned, my name is Rebecca Heisel, and I'm a program coordinator at the Great Plains Institute. We're a clean energy nonprofit, and we are based in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but we, along with our in-state partners like Power Clean Future Ohio, who's on the call today, Clean Fuels Ohio, and the Electrification Coalition, we've been doing work for the past couple of years in Ohio and Michigan to prepare and help communities achieve equitable actions to, be ready to have more EVs on the road. And so Charging Smart is a program that's funded by the U.S. Department of Energy's Vehicle Technology Office. And it's a free technical assistance program for local governments like yourself to help you all we provide you with the tools to facilitate and speed the deployment of electric vehicles within your community. And so what this program will help you do is that we help communities set and achieve those equitable EV readiness goals, and it's based on nationally recognized best practices, and then we recognize you for that good work that you're doing. And you just heard a lot about the Soul Smart program, and this Charging Smart program is based off of the experience and success of the Soul Smart program. And it really emphasizes changes that your community can do and make to remove barriers to EV adoption. So, as I mentioned, I work for the Great Plains Institute, and we're a leading partner in this national program, but we have also many other partners in the program, including the Interstate Renewable Energy Council, which is leading the work, and we partner with other clean city coalitions across the country. We also have industry partners that we're working with to kind of get their perspective on this work, and their logos are listed on this slide. Currently, this Charging Smart program is being offered in Ohio, and then later in 2024, we will be expanding to cover the entirety of the United States. But for Fairborn, what this means is that joining and participating in this program now, it can put you amongst the first communities that will be certified or designated as Charging Smart. And right now we are working with PCFO and other in-state partners in a development phase of this program, and communities like Dayton, which is a neighboring community, and other nearby communities to you are participating. So you'd be among good company. All right, so just a little bit of, I was asked to do a little bit of background about EVs in Ohio. And so I looked at the Ohio Alternative Fuel Vehicle Registration Dashboard. That's a mouthful. And within Ohio currently, I think as of February of this year, there are almost 70,000 alternative fuel vehicles registered in the state. And so when they're talking about alternative fuel vehicles, really what they're talking about is fully electric vehicles, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles for the most part. There's a small number of compressed natural gas vehicles that are represented in this data that I should note, but that's only about 380 vehicles in total. And so this graph is showing basically the total electric vehicle registrations in the state by region and country. And the Dayton region has about 5,000 EVs registered. And this next graph is showing the increase in EV registrations over the state over the years. So in July of 2020, the far left of this graph, there were under 20,000 vehicles. And since then, there's been a steady growth of vehicle registrations as of up to February of this year, where, as I mentioned earlier, there's about 70,000 EV registrations in the state. So really the point that I'm trying to make with these graphs is that, this is a technology that's coming, it's here, and we're already seeing growth, and we're expected to see more growth. And so communities like Fairborn, we all need to be thinking and planning and prepared for this growth. And the Charging Smart program can support you and help you in doing that. Additionally, I do want to show one other area of just kind of one example of how economically this program can benefit you. Similarly, as John Paul mentioned to SoulSmart, there's no like funding for projects attached to the participation. We can help you identify and research and connect with other partners to obtain funding, but there isn't funding attached. However, when we do things like update our zoning code to include EVs and make EV charging infrastructure and make requirements for installation in new construction, we can be saving money in that regard. An organization called Sweep reports that installing charging stations in new construction can be anywhere from 4 to 6 times less expensive than if we're having to go back and retrofit. So the Charging Smart program can help you think about and write and adopt ordinances that can help address charging infrastructure in your new development. So this is a graph or an infographic, I guess, from Drive Electric Minnesota, detailing some studies where there's cases in construction of chargers in new development versus in the same area having to retrofit to install chargers. So there's many different benefits that participating in this Charging Smart program that your community can receive, including, we provide tools, templates, guides. We have webinars that we do, informational webinars and more that can help support your staff when you're thinking through all these different actions. And that can help, reduce your costs, reduce staff time, because you're not having to think about like, what should we be doing? We're helping you and walking you through that process. So now I think you all want to be hearing about, I've been talking about a lot about what the program can do for you. I do want to spend more time in thinking about kind of the framework and the requirements of the Charging Smart program. So the program is split into, the actions that we cover are split into 6 categories. And the 6 categories are listed on this slide. The first category that we have is the planning category. And this is where we ask communities to think through how EVs and their charging infrastructure can be incorporated into your different planning documents, such as your comprehensive plans or a downtown plan, or if you have a sustainability plan, making sure that EVs are addressed in that manner. The second category is regulation. This is thinking about how EVs and charging infrastructure can be adopted into your zoning ordinances or building codes, as well as making sure that, similar to SoulSmart, being really mindful that our permitting processes related to installing charging infrastructure in your community are streamlined, transparent, and clear. The third category is utility engagement, and this is thinking about how electric utilities are a very valuable partner in this work because they do have a vested interest in seeing EVs succeed in our community. And so this is, helping us think through how we can be partnering and working with other entities within this kind of overall ecosystem to lighten the load on our part. The fourth category is my favorite category. It's the education and incentives category. And this is thinking about what Fairborn can be doing to educate your community members, your local businesses and commercial property owners about the benefits of EVs and the different incentives, rebates, tax credits that are available to them. And then the fifth category is kind of the opposite, where education incentives is looking outwards into your community. The government and operations category is looking inward to see what Fairborn can be doing internally to promote EVs, such as electrifying your fleet or installing public charging infrastructure, that sort of thing. The sixth category is shared mobility. This category really recognizes that personal vehicles are a piece of the puzzle, but not everyone will own a personal vehicle in their life. And we need to be making sure that we're thinking about the transportation system as a whole. And so the shared mobility category is encouraging us to think about how we can be electrifying other methods of transportation in our community. So working with transit providers or school districts to encourage the electrification of our transit buses or school buses, or providing e-scooters in our communities for our community members to move around in that regard. So that's the framework of like everything that we look at and help you think about as a part of this program. Off to the side here, you'll see it says EVs for all. There are two types of points for this program. We have general points, where when you complete an action, you get points for completing that action. But there's also a possibility to earn EV for all points. And those points are thinking about how we can be making that action more accessible to all of our community members, how we can think about making it more equitable, so that really that's baked in from the get-go. So I believe this next slide is very similar to what you saw for the Soul Smart slide, but as a part of the program, you do get the opportunity to be designated as bronze, silver, or gold Charging Smart community. And this infographic here kind of shows what's expected for a community member that has earned each designation level. So for example, a community that has earned bronze designation will have successfully standardized EV charging infrastructure permitting, identified zoning restrictions, and discussed collaboration opportunities with utility providers, whereas a gold designee will have completed all the bronze and silver requirements and will have done what's listed here, things like purchasing EVs for the municipal fleet and so on. So the next slide is thinking about kind of the point requirements for each of those different designation levels. For bronze designation level, you would need to earn 80 general points. And then separately, there's those EV for all points that I just reviewed. You would need to earn 15 EV for all points. And we do try to be, we don't have a ton of prescriptive actions as a part of this program, because we recognize that each community has different needs and different goals. And so we do try to be fairly flexible in the requirements. And so we do say that 10 of the general points need to be earned in the planning category, but we don't necessarily say specific actions that need to be completed. So that's up to what fits best for your community. And then 15 of those general points need to be earned in the education incentives category. So thinking about how you can be educating your community members, because that's a vital piece of seeing EVs succeed within our communities. And then similarly, silver requires 150 points, general points, and 30 EV for all points. And 20 points have to come from the utility engagement category. And then for gold, there's 300 general points that need to be earned and 60 EV for all points. And similarly to Soul Smart, each action can earn 5, 10, 15, 20 points. So there's a wide range. And so getting to the 80 points or the 150 points isn't saying that you're doing 80 actions. It's a handful of actions that would sum up to 80. There are a few, I did just say that we are flexible, but we do have a few for each bronze, silver, and gold, have a few prerequisite items that we do require, which are listed on this slide, such as for bronze, you would need to do a review of your zoning requirements and identify restrictions that could unintentionally prohibit charging infrastructure deployment. You would need to adopt a standard permitting application process for charging infrastructure. You would need to develop a permitting checklist based off of that process that you just developed, saying, if you want to install a charging station in this community, this is what you would need to do. And then you would need to meet with your utilities to discuss collaboration opportunities. For silver, there's 3 prerequisite requirements here. So this one is focused on adding some specific language to your zoning ordinance about where chargers are allowed within your community, and allowing the parking stalls that have charging stations they are counted towards minimum parking requirements, if that's applicable for your community. And you would need to complete a fleet analysis for your municipal fleet. And then gold prerequisites include things like installing a public charger and purchasing an EV for your municipal fleet, and adopting an EV readiness ordinance, among a few other requirements that are listed on this slide. So that was a lot of information about the Charging Smart program, how it can be beneficial to you. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about it, but if this is something that you're interested in, kind of the next step is reaching out to me, and I can get you started on getting involved in the Charging Smart program. And my contact information is listed on this